Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. I hope everyone's ready for the US close. I certainly am. And I want to say a big thank you for joining the stream. There's quite a few hundred of you out there right now. We have massive earnings today, guys. Let's just quickly go over it just before the close here. We've got AMD, Microsoft, Alphabet, Visa, Twitters, Robinhood, Enphase, and even some old boomer companies. My goodness, there's a lot to go through. And wow, we've got some increased volatility coming off the base as well. So it was an interesting day so far in trade. Let's just quickly do a summary of it and have a look at the markets overall. My goodness, my goodness, my goodness. So we have a market up here. US 100 was up and it hit the top. Let's say the top. There it is. There's the resistance top. It actually hit that and sold straight off it. Bam, bam. Will this now be a pretty important point? Look, we always know any resistance is going to be important, so that's going to make sense. Let's have a look at it on the NDX right now. You can see a little bit of indecision around the peak. This is where you usually expect markets to do some consolidation, but of course, any breakout from here to the top of the trend line we go. Just want to show everybody the trend line. This was always our expectation. When we did the switch down here, our expectation becomes we have to hit the top of the trend line. So a few people are saying, time for a 10% correction. Unfortunately, we probably just had the correction. So to have another correction on a correction, it's not really a very good sign in the markets. I expect more like this. Something like that, more of a kind of curve now where it keeps moving up. Yes, there'll be some blips in it, but overall to fill the gaps is going to take a pullback, let's say start of November, best case scenario. Otherwise, you're going to be waiting for a little bit. Remember, corrections usually are around 8 to 10%. And sometimes in the S&P, they're only about 5 or 6%, guys. So yeah, that's the way we kind of look at it. Now, let's just quickly think about all these other markets. We've got US 500, new high, obviously coming back down a little bit here ahead of the earnings, a little bit of profit taking, potentially some scaredy cats coming into the earnings themselves. And when we have a look on the right-hand side here, we'll just quickly go full screen. When we have a look at the right-hand side here, we've got a few. Oh, I've got a new feature. Finally. Yes. How much better is this? Oh, praise. They've fixed the software. Look at that, guys. That's much better. Okay, so now we can do full screen and actually be down here. It actually is a problem with this particular software I use, so I'm happy about that. Tesla's holding pretty well. I mean, it went up a lot pre-market. Oh, sorry, in the early markets here. 2 hours, you went up to almost 1,100, and then it's come back down. I think that's actually a fairly strong hold for it. I know it looks like, oh my goodness, this thing, is volatile, and it will be. I mean, you can't expect this huge run without some volatility. And this is actually looking like a little bit of a negative style candle coming into the close. Just be careful here, guys. While we're all relatively bullish on the new price valuations over the next coming months for Tesla, that kind of move off the Hertz sugar rush is showing some signs of small weakness. If you're an investor, I don't think you got much to worry about. If you're a trader, you just got to be wary of the fact that you're going to have this kind of volatility. So this needs consolidation. I'm not saying it's not bullish, just needs consolidation if possible. All of these markets slightly coming into negativity into ahead of the earnings. We have earnings. As I said, it's so big. There's so much in there. There's an extreme amount of volatility. It probably made sense the VIX was going to spike coming into this. So that's why I think partially this is it. I mean, you might think, oh, the market's going up. How can the VIX be going up? This is a fear index, isn't it? Well, there is fear as a news event. So let's talk about each one of these stocks. Let's go through AMD first. AMD. All right. So AMD makes a new high and fully reverses it. Very weird. Got to say that is super strange. So to make a new high, then fully reverse it and basically create a pin bar coming into earnings, a shooting star style candle into the reversal. That's a very weird type of thing. Most of the time, probably like 80% of the time, markets will hit the resistance ahead of earnings, hover there, then break out after the earnings. Not necessarily do that. That is, unless earnings have come out and I've missed it, what is that? What is that? Eli Colner says AMD is known for indecision on earnings. Sure, but that's so weird, man. You know what I mean? Like, you can expect markets to gravitate to a resistance or support ahead of earnings. But to do something like this where it breaks out, then it comes back fully down, I mean, is that loose lips? Is that a trap? I don't know. That very, very strange. Very strange. It's not that, yeah, it doesn't look good, but it's also just weird. I just don't usually see it. Let's go through a few others. Let's have a look. Actually, how did the old, so PLTR didn't really, I did run in the morning. Yeah. Yep. I suspected that would last on the previous session when we're talking about the close. So did gap up? Let's have a quick look here. This stock, seriously, it always does the same thing. Has a morning run with all the people that love trading it. And then it always comes back down and gives you a nasty red. Let's just go back to that daily. So yesterday we talked about the closure breakout strong. Wasn't actually a bad percentage if you were in it for a period. 5.21%. Anyone trade PLTR today? Let me know. It is the WSB effect on AMD pin bar. That could be possible because we did see that was a heavily traded stock from Wall Street Bets. Amazon has a great day on it. Anyone that picked up this position here, it made sense for scaling reasons. We've talked about the November run for Amazon. We also know that we're into that first step of recovery. We've obviously got our lightning bolt. We've got now the downtrend we want to break through. And I'm pretty bullish on Amazon. I think it can do a 3,900. Pending the earnings is pretty good. And from a technical perspective, we get that recovery. 3,900, 4,000 seems to be quite likely. And yeah, it's all about the earnings here. But I think that's why there's a lot of pickup in it. People are anticipating maybe it's not as bad as we expect. That's kind of exciting stuff. Let's have a look at Microsoft. Microsoft hovering, no real information coming through here in terms of the earnings report. It's showing a lot of strength on most charts. You've got a bit of support at 305. Not really too interested in trading Microsoft. I think if you're investing in it, that's fine. But trading it around here, I don't know if it's the best position. Some other things that have been happening today. Let's just have a look at some sectors here. So we'll quickly check out the biotech. So we saw biotech clean up the 200, hit right into it. This is a good closure breakout. You can see the sector itself is waking up, which is good news. Not every stock's going today, but there was a little bit of a bounce and then sell off. And yeah, there's quite a lot of things. Orion says, I long hold PLTR. Oh my goodness. You've got very strong hands, very big diamond hands there, sir. It's not saying it's bad, it's just very volatile, as you would know. John Moore said, I sold it to get out of it. I didn't hold it. Fair enough, man. Oh, this is a big improvement, this software. I can see it does a few things here. That's fantastic. Joseph de Salsa, $4.99. Head and Shoulders on Amazon on the weekly, question mark. Okay. Let's have a look. Yeah. I don't think it'll work, eh? So you're right. I mean, he's going left, head, right. So there's the left shoulder, there's the head, there's the right shoulder. Yeah, I wouldn't use this, man. But you are correct. This is the importance of the 3180. I've said this a few times, though, about shorts in the market, especially in a quality stock. Head and Shoulders and patterns and all these things, in TA, everyone thinks of them as the golden goose. They're like, double bottom, I'm going to trade it. Head and Shoulders, I'm going to trade it. Flag, I'm going to trade it. And look, hey, I used to do that as well. They are good to recognize, but it's the story. And I teach this in the mentoring and I go psycho about it because it's, yeah, I've talked to a lot of really good technical analysis people, like, 30, 40 years experience, the old dot plotters and everything. And we all agree it is more important to understand the story of the charts more than necessarily the pattern. The pattern itself is a story, but it's the story more relevant to current price as well that you've got to be able to unpack. So are you correct? Is this important neckline? Yes, it is. 3180 is a very important support. If it closes below, theoretically, you're looking at this kind of movement. What is most likely going to happen? Someone in the big brain chat right now, there's 600 of you right now. What would be very likely not to occur should it break through the head and shoulders? Do you think the pattern would actually work out? Let me know. Clout Gangster says, this ain't no fun. What do you mean, man? What's going on, Clout, bro? 3,500. I mean, even if you think of it as the head and shoulders, if it does break that right shoulder, remember that allows it to really start ramping as well. It generally doesn't actually complete. That's correct. So yeah, with the head and shoulders, if you're taking a short side, remember the market is optimistic. The market is generally bullish. So for you to complete the head and shoulders to the downside is actually unlikely and statistically unlikely. In a currency market where there's no fair value, it will be more likely. In certain other markets, it'll be more likely, but not in a quality stock, not in something like Amazon. You're asking to really thrash a company that's pretty damn good. So just remember, inverse head and shoulders, more likely to be successful in the market. Head and shoulders, less likely to be successful due to the nature of the bullishness of markets and optimism in markets. So I like this a lot. Amazon has a good weekly story on it. I like the turnaround here, and hopefully the earnings can hold up. So we have, again, quite a few things coming in. Let's just quickly go back over it. So we've got Microsoft. We had a quick look at that. We'll go over. Let's go and have a look at Visa. Check out Visa. Wow. Those weeklies are insane. If I saw that in Apple, I'd be going crazy. Look at that. What is that? It's like rejection, 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 rejection. It hasn't done the follow through my resistance here, the 231. Jeez. Wow. Right on support ahead of the earnings. Now that's more like what I expect from a stock. You have your resistance. It's on the support. It's on the most important line coming into the earnings. And you can see the story on the weekly is very bullish, actually. But we haven't quite been able to get through. And that's because it's waiting on the all-important earnings. Visa, a very interesting chart. You guys see that? Look at the weekly. Let's just go back over. Holy moly. That is a ton of bullish reversals. I wonder if it's happened over here kind of as well. End up going underneath them. Always learn from the left-hand side how the stock reacts. Very bizarre. Other ones, we have the Twitters. Let's have a look how Twitter's going today. Nothing there yet for Twitter. So Twitter is weak into the session. However, it's very convoluted. So this will be kind of like a snap. Remember, Twitter does have that tendency to disappoint in earnings. We've seen that happen a lot. So they have introduced a few new things, which makes you think it's possible. There's a little bit of volume coming in the last couple of days. But yeah, I don't think that's fantastic. Let's just quickly check out DKNG because I noticed it bounced straight back. Now, could this be? This is another one. See, I talk about this a lot. If you're going to recognize a channel and then it breaks out down, while that should then theoretically point towards here, we know the markets are optimistic. So all of a sudden it's bounced back. What could this be? This could be a maximum pain. So effectively, we've created a short that's taken out everyone's stop losses underneath here. We then reverse that stop. And this is again why it's better off waiting for confirmation and generally being optimistic in markets. If we now break out here, if Scott Morgan's there, if we break out here, wow, that could be a very big bear trap. And then all of a sudden we actually really do ramp. Remember, the story is super important. We break out negative, then we reverse to go positive. Let's just say we do that. What just happened? It took out stops. It has shorts all over it. And those shorts are getting absolutely slapped all the way up as people close them, as people get forced into them and through margin. All sorts of things go through. Very, very interesting. By the way, has anyone checked out NVIDIA? Holy moly. 248, just hit a 250, probably a resistance for it from a psychological standpoint. Congratulations, NVIDIA fans. Fantastic. Look at that. Wow. Wow. Big, big, big day. So DKNG still on the chart, still watching for sure. That's a stop hunt. Absolutely, Paul. Stop hunt. Few people saying buy the dip on PayPal. Yeah, I think if they're pulled still on pins, this is a investment style fundamental decision more than a technical decision at this point. If you're looking at technicals, you're looking at the green box. So you're looking at turnaround stories here. But if you like it and you think, oh, well, nothing's really fundamentally changed since this whole pins thing and the market didn't like it, then yeah, it's not the worst scenario. I think you're putting together 2 and 2. So a lot of these stocks coming into today's close are showing some strange kind of setups. We've got pretty strong looking Google chart, but again, some weakness here. AMD looks super weird. I mean, a rejection like that's very convoluted. Microsoft's doing nothing, which means that, you know, people are pretty split on how it's going in. Twitter doesn't look so good. It's not an easy one from a close perspective. It's usually never going to be into earnings. You're generally going to be at a resistance or a support. And therefore, because you're at a critical point, a lot of people, a lot of traders will wait and see. And then, of course, once they get confirmation either way, they'll get in. Now, if you want to be a trader of the news, maybe you can practice scaling instead to make sure that you don't make poor decisions. That's pretty much it. So Joseph, just to say again, thank you very much. But yeah, Head and Shoulders, you're correct. Technically, you're correct on Amazon, but I wouldn't probably use it. Robinhood, yeah, we can use Robinhood, but we won't have enough information on the charts yet. I mean, you know, I hate IPOs here. I'm not a fan. I like IPOs if you get into them early, like pre-IPO, Robinhood. Obviously, there was the whole crazy Wall Street bets kind of thing. But at this chart, you know, you look at this actually shows just straight weakness. I mean, basically, you've got support, 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 support. And then the last couple of days, it's broken below those. Does it mean anything? Unfortunately, no, because we have no history. We have no idea what's going on. This is a complete guess. You're coin flipping. From the chart, you would say negative on the result. And in terms of repair for this chart, you'd be looking at some kind of trend line through these peaks. So you'd be basically saying, okay, I'm looking for it to repair through these. And as that repairs, I will get into ramped positions. We'll do Facebook. Let's check out Neo. Neo. Not bad. Got a flag here on Neo. Came up just before, wait, what did it hit? 42.62 and then rejected. Ooh. Expected it to go to the 43 for sure. Still looks okay on the charts. Let's go to the 4-hour. I mean, that's not a great candle, is it? But and that is a flag. If you take the breakout of the flag and then use the standard extract, yeah, it should go higher. I guess it just looks bad, but overall, pretty good. Facebook is in, like, the technical still there, but the candle looks a bit weird going into the close here. Oh, wow. Okay. Bad close. So it didn't even close the gap. So the aftermarket's closure, if we remember rightly, was around 336. I looked at the fundamentals. I mean, it clearly looks like Facebook's not growing at anywhere near the rates it used to. It wasn't that bad. So this is an interesting reaction from Wall Street. They go to 335 aftermarket, then it doesn't even manage to hold the gap and then comes straight back down. Doesn't bode well for Twitter, does it? 315. 300, also a very big support should it continue to close. I mean, if it closes down here, bearishness should ensue to 300, then it finds support, then it moves up. This was where the double bottom was in play. If we close above here, very interesting. So this close is bad. Hmm. No, I don't have any interest in Facebook. I actually barely look at it, if you notice. But of the FANG stocks, it's my least likely to trade. But that's a bad close. Let's see if that thing can get back to 320. That'd be very bullish for it if it can get back to here. What do you guys think about Facebook? I'm surprised it didn't actually fill. I thought it was going to fill. Ivan says LMT is slaughtered. Your thoughts, Tom? LMT, Lockheed Martin, 332. Haven't looked at this one in a while either. Yeah, it's been a pretty bad pandemic run, hasn't it? The pandemic run got it to about 281. Then it came back down. It's all over the place. Sideways action. 320, probably where it's going at the moment. Just want to have a look at the run on it. Very consistent. Remember, learn from the left-hand side what happens. So this is one of those industries that does tend to kind of go more late cycle. It's based, more on certain different. It's kind of like it almost trades like a really defensive kind of position. Now, what's happened here is we've got tons of sideways action. You've got to go and ask yourself, well, is that unusual? So let's go and look at the global financial crisis, think what's happening here. 2009 to 2010-ish sat in a sideways action. Now, this is underperforming. So this is heavily underperforming the market. And that's why I say sometimes you can find very good trades within trades. So you might say, oh, I missed the market. I missed the recovery. I missed everything. So up until 2013, if you were invested in this, it was horrible, yeah? It was very bad. But if you were able to recognize the trend coming out of it, which happened about that 13, 14, the gains were significant. So there's a lot of stocks that will stay behind for some time, and then they will suddenly come alive. And I think this is probably one of those. Do I expect it to come alive anytime soon? No. Based on that left-hand side, it took years before it ramped. So you've got to think it's a very similar scenario in some ways financially. So it's going to take a while to get better. I do think that this 320 is a strong support. And then, of course, you've got 280 as the big support underneath that. I haven't read the report. I don't know why it's down so much. But yeah, these are the key levels that I'd be looking at. And I wouldn't expect huge turnarounds just yet for Lockheed. Doesn't look like it will. Scott Mong says, I like Facebook. Small businesses heavily rely on it. 2B daily users equals ad revenue machine. Yeah, so I'm in two minds. I think it's easier to use like something like a Google. I can only use my parents as an example here. And if they're listening, hey mum, hey dad, they don't use Facebook. Now they're in the typical demographic that now loves Facebook, but they don't use it and they don't like logging into it. And but they use YouTube like crazy. They use Google like crazy. They love it. They love it. And I think it's just the ease of entry, and they just don't like Facebook. So it's an interesting one. I think Facebook's hit its full target. I don't really see how they grow that much anymore. And I think that's the problem with a lot of these ones. They've got to add more in their small business. Let me just quickly close. This is probably ruining my microphone. There we go. That'll be better. Donnie says, if you want to see cringe memes shared by boomers and being tagged by high school classmates for pyramid schemes, then Facebook is your go. Oh, it's a bit mean. So we're coming into the close here. We have had a significant little pullback into the close. Let's just quickly talk about this pullback because this is fairly important. So US 100 hits full on the high, then it fully reverses that high. So that is now down as much as 1.25% off the high and now sitting around 0.94. It's important to think about this, but then we've also got to say to ourselves, okay, so if we close, let's say down here, where are our massive support buys? Are we going to have buyers come back in? Should we start returning? Well, we're going to have buyers around 15.4. We're going to have, of course, the buyers around this 20 moving average. And it becomes a story of something like this, I think. Now, if these AMD, Microsoft, Google earnings are all poor, it's going to be, of course, much worse. But what do you guys think? I don't think that it will look bad, But do you think it's going to be a double top, guys? Or do you think it's just going to be a dip followed by a bigger buy up? What do you reckon? Let us know right now. Facebook has a privacy problem. Yeah, it's got a lot of, I think it's got a lot of government issues as well. Alberto says, how much was MySpace revenue? Yeah, MySpace. Dip buy, no double top, says Kevin. Yeah, I tend to think that you're right. Mostly, maybe a little bit of pullback after such a huge run. I mean, we just hit a resistance. I would see people take profit there. But here we go. We've got 3 minutes into the close. Give me a stock that you're looking at. It has to be good technical. Give me stocks that have got good technicals on them. Just looking through these. NVIDIA very strong today. Across the board. Etsy hit my first TP. I still think it's got good November run, but it hit that level yesterday. Pretty damn fantastic for it. PayPal continues that weakness. The Chinese stocks seem to be weakening. Let me just quickly load one of those up. Where are we? Let's have a look at Tencent here. Oh, I still like Tencent. It's probably one of my favorites of these stocks in China. Let's have a look at the Barber. Okay, so the Barber fails to break that resistance from any closure perspective. We've got fake, like gaps up, sells off, sells off, sells off, 2050, probably on support right now. So this 2050, dynamic support, very important zone for it. Previous little bit of resistance for the Barbers. Regen. Okay. Regeneron. Yeah, nice move. Very technical stock this, or it has been in the past. Great breakout there previously, which ran in. Very important resistance close here. So unfortunately, while it's a great move, that's an important resistance close. So you're looking for that gap closure. It does look good. The base was nice. XLV in general is doing quite well, and the biotech sector is doing quite well as well. Oh, that's so beautiful. Look at this. Fantastic trades. These sectors have been phenomenal. I know they're not huge percentages, but they are phenomenal. SSYS. What's that? How's that other thing that I haven't talked about, the SPAC going? Is the SPAC up still, guys? I forgot what the code was for it. I just want to look. I don't want to talk about the political stuff in it. I just want to see it. Let's see how it's going. What's it called? D something. Resistance, closure out. Pretty significant. Nice closure out. Not probably a big stock, 2 billion, so pretty small. Yeah, not too bad into the close here. OSTK, let's have a look here. Overstock.com. Don't like that very much. That's like a double tweezer on the resistance. Doesn't look strong on the daily close here. Not horrid, but doesn't look, no, I don't like it actually. CHPT, ChargePoint Holdings, another one of these stronger recovery style stocks. That's through both moving averages. Let's go to the weekly story here. Not a great trade, but if you're investing, I'm sure there's some reason. This doesn't have good technical. It's just very strong. I mean, it's just like boom, 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 boom. 20 moving average, possibly like that kind of buy off zone. But yeah, it looks good, but it doesn't have like great technical trade. You know what I mean? It's like more of a aggression on both ends. You can tell it's not very technical, this stock. EWAC, is that what it is? Ugh, piece of crap. Sorry, guys. From a money perspective, it's a piece of crap. Because what happened is you get, it's like a Robin Hood special, you know, hype train. Oh, it's the next coming, and then it comes back down. Yeah, you got to be very careful with these. Don't get into your you never want to be too like confident in these types of things, especially these backdoor SPACs. They're mostly hype trains. Doesn't matter which one it is. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Hopefully no one got it here. I hope no one in this community bought it here, okay? Who knows what happens with it now? Maybe it settles down, closes the gap, settles down, finds price between 20 and 40, something like that. It's still up huge. I mean, don't get me wrong. But that was the pumpy and then possibly a little bit dumpy. So here we go. Let's get up 4 screeners. Let's find out what's happening here with all these screens. AMD. I hope most people here had a plan for it. If they didn't, unfortunate, but oh well. Move on to the next one, hey? Google. And we'll watch, I guess, Twitter here. I guess, well, which one do you want, guys? You want Robinhood or Twitter? Put it in. I think I'll watch the Twitter. Okay, here we go, guys. It's very tough to trade earnings week, actually. A lot of people say, oh, I'm excited for it. I'm always excited for it to get clear direction, but I don't like trading it that much because if you're invested, sure, you hold your positions. If you're trading, you hold your positions. You're like, oh my God, please don't go down. Please don't go down. But yeah, when you're trading it, you can obviously get smelted. So you got to be very, very careful and wait for a lot of them. Does Tom do crypto anymore? I'm honestly going to try. Yeah. We do crypto. We just do it after the close. We've got a lot of earnings this week, so you got to remind that. Why are you crying about crypto? It's been pretty good. I mean, I know it's pulling back today, but it's been pretty damn good. All right, let's pull this up. Let me get it all. One sec. AMD up to 122.95. Okay. Google down 1.2% post. He must be an ADA. What's ADA doing? Oh, ADA is only 217. It's up 1.26%. It's a celebration. It's a celebration in ADA. It's up. It's up, guys. I won't cover the full Microsoft earnings report 1 hour 30, but I'll have it in the daily video. So I'll do it in the recap video, but I'm not going to cover it here. Microsoft beats. How much is a beat? It's all algos during the earnings release. Yeah, pretty much. Algos will trade. You're absolutely correct. It's like kind of flick the switch, guys. Jimmy, flick the switch. It's time for earnings. Oh, did you see Twitter? Oh my God. Did you see? Oh, no. Did anyone see that? That candle come in? Oh, a 5-minute candle. Did you see that? Wow, just reversed. Holy moly. Went down to $56 and then fully reversed to 62. You guys see that then? Now that's an algorithm. And now back to 58. What in the God? That's very wild, I gotta say. Very wild. That's some wild 5-minute aftermarket action. I've got, yeah, you can see it on the screen. You all saw it, yeah? It went off the screen, then came back. Thank you very much. All right, let's refresh. Should have it soon. So that's clearly being interpreted a whole bunch of different ways. I think this is the problem with the Snap result. So we have that Facebook, which was very similar. It went negative and then it went super positive. But look at this Twitter result. Wow. That is a very big reversal. Now up, that is almost like it's almost like you're not watching $1 billion stock. You know, billions and billions of dollar stock. That is a big reversal both ways. What's it remind me of? It reminds me of 5-minute currency trading into a huge news event. And this is a stock. And that's why, guys, when you're trading and you've got margin and you possibly got futures both ways into earnings, it can be really dangerous. Like, I think it's a good example of how dangerous it can be if you have stop losses and you have, leverage and you're trading a CFD that trades aftermarket as well. Because you get that kind of volatility. Whereas, an option obviously can go through your strike and then still you're not going to get hit. Snap is a buy. Yeah, I think look, most tech stocks that become dips or even go down 20-30%. I've explained this before. They can recover, whereas other tech stocks cannot. So other stocks can't do it as easily. Something that drops 20% usually not that good. Robinhood falls 7% post market as third quarter revenue misses estimates. So let's just have a quick look at the Robin. That Robinhood over here, the hood. The hood's trading at 36.49. So it looks like the price action was not lying. Decline here. Twitter is all over the place. If that's true feed, is anyone else? Can you just confirm that feed is correct? Because I'm obviously using the feed here. Can anyone confirm that your Twitter is going crazy like that post market, up, down, all around? Robinhood again misses estimates, and that miss has done this. Futures now all almost flat to down. So these are the big stocks. These ones are pushing around the markets now. Optimism is failing after hitting the high. Yeah. So Robinhood misses third quarter. That's why it's 36.19. Can't say it surprises me. IPOs are frankly trash for 12 to 18 months, generally in the US, and then they come good after that. So it's just pretty consistent. You can go through your charts, go back and have a look at your tech stocks, and a lot of them come in bad. Do you guys agree with me on that, or you don't? You can not agree with me. Ian Douglas says, yeah, I have the same Twitter. That's craziness. Yeah. Oh yeah, Twitter wilding. Yeah. I don't know if the algorithm, obviously something annoyed the algorithm and it went crazy. There's a parameter that Bob put into the robot and it didn't work out for them. The parameter accidentally sold when it should have been buying. Yeah, but also no volume. So algos, I think. Certainly algorithms. There's no way a trade happens like that without algorithms. In fact, I think they should ban algorithms from the market, personally. I know they can't, but I think they should. I hate algorithms. Nasty. Nasty, nasty, nasty. When I first came into the markets, obviously I'm not that old into the markets, but in 2008, it wasn't anywhere near the speed of which it is now in terms of, this quick, crazy, algorithmic style on the smaller time frames. In many ways, it ruined the ability to scalp well because there's so many big chop changes and so much trapping that goes on. And that's why a lot of people have moved out to, long, bigger day trades, certain styles, certain abilities, and more. The trade nowadays, it's more around recognizing there's an algorithm in there that's there to trap retail traders and trap certain concepts. And it's more of actually a stop hunt liquidity trap that you're looking for. You actually had to adapt that trade on the smaller time frames. So we'll get rid of the hood. Hood misses earnings. Bring up AMD. The Microsoft, obviously post-market here now down 0.57, and Google is flat as a tack. Futures markets across the board. Tech is now down. So if you notice here, the US 100 now down 0.04. Microsoft's revenue, 45.3 billion versus 43.93 billion. So pretty good. Expected earnings per share, 2.71 versus 2.07 earnings. That's pretty good. But notice how the market expects so much. So that's pretty good. I won't go too much into it, Jay Nibble. It's something I really teach in the mentoring. It takes a long time. It takes a lot of time to explain it. It's a strategy that I've used. You have to use it at a certain time of the day, and yeah, it's kind of it's something I worked a bit on. And let's just say that I lost a bit of money. I made a bit of money to get to the point where I was pretty confident in what was happening. Microsoft's doing well this year. Yeah, look, Microsoft's transferred its business very well. That's a good result, but it's probably in line with expectations. And what that means is now, which is good, because it means now you get the TA to take over again. So what they want to do with it, we'll probably have it sitting around this. We'll wait for the call, obviously, and see what happens there. But in general, it's going to sit around that 310, 309, 308 here, it looks like. That's enough beat to beat the expectation. Remember, this is how Wall Street comes in. So they expect it. Let's say we have a 1 to a 10 ratio. They always come in with an 8. So that means that if you've given them guidance, Wall Street will generally come in with a 7 to an 8. So for you, and this is what people don't understand, if they have a 7 to an 8, that means that 5 is just hitting the expectation. So you've got to hit the expectation and slam it to even justify the price that Wall Street puts into the market. So optimism is always a 7 to an 8. Sometimes it's a 10 on certain stocks. You can tell by the price action. But 7 to 8 is usually a good rule of thumb. They come in very hot and they expect not just a hit. They want to beat by a percentage. And that percentage is usually based on, let's say they've got like a tolerance of 10% above, 10% below. They want like a 7 or 8% above. I'm not even kidding you. That's what they want. Can't find your mentor sign up area. Just jump on over to fxevolution.com, man. We've got one slot, I think, left. If you're interested in it for November. That's our website. Texas Instruments down 5% already. Oh, yeah, that also had an earnings. So Microsoft seems to be on target, guys. Maybe slightly better than on target. So it'll probably float a little bit up here. I think it's good enough. Texas Instruments down 5.22%. Comes into resistance close to that earnings call. Been very choppy now for many months. I have not owned this stock for a very long time. I know it's going up a little bit, but look at that thing. Hug that weekly 20. Wow. It is holding on for dear life on that 20. No wild escapes for it. Probably comes down and touches it again now. Oh, where's 186? Let's get 186. Oh, it's underneath. 186 is underneath. Oh, that's not good. That's the first underneath 20 since the pandemic crisis. Huh. Probably not great. Probably goes to 180. 50 exponential. Let's see how it's reacted to 50. 50 buy, 50 strong. 20 for a long time. Went underneath 50. Not a stock I like, but seems inbound to the 50, 180. Decent support resistance around there. Indeed. In capitals, the market has already adjusted. You mean 312? It's pretty much where it was, though. Tesla going crazy as well. Okay, let's have a look at Tesla. We need to keep that one on the chart. Oh, 2780. Okay, that's fine. Tesla. Not too crazy. Remember, we gotta know now that like $20-30 isn't that much. Remember, it's now such an expensive stock that these moves are not too much. Microsoft now going up a little bit, 313 after. So I think that's a slightly, well, it's not even, it's a beat by probably their 7 to the 8. So they're happy with that. I got burnt by ARK K. Okay. AMD algos moving in. Yep, 1.68% after hours. So they're starting to get in there. Anyone else got burnt by Tesla today? I'm surprised if you got burnt by Tesla today. Surprised, actually. AMD's out. Cool. Jump that in if you could. So again, Hood after earnings has lost based on the third quarter being underneath. US regulators exploring how banks could hold crypto assets from the FDIC chairman. Okay. Certainly a ton of discussion on the positive side and negative side for crypto at the moment. Here come the algorithms into the into the AMD. Look at it switch between its aftermarket low liquidity pricing. 122, 123, 122, 123. How's the old Twitter doing? All right, so we began and ended. We, we went down all the way down to here. We went all the way up to here, and we ended up at 61.70. That was some wild action on the algorithm trade. Texas Instruments, pretty disappointing, I guess, on the earnings. And US 100, I guess we take probably the most stock from this. Let's go to the 2-hour chart here. Now bouncing around slightly. Make up your mind, AMD. Yeah, it doesn't want to know. Check end phase. Ooh, up 7.3%. That's actually pretty good for me. Thank you very much. It's 186. 186. Yeah, M phase has a lot of tops in it around this, just underneath $200. But the whole tan sector, so N phase up 6.7% in the post. The whole tan area is primed for potential ramp. Obviously, it'll need the bill most likely or something like that. But you've got a lot of consolidation underneath this. This is the solar index. There's a lot of weird, dodgy companies in the solar index, guys. So be very careful. There is a lot of pump and a lot of dump in this sector. You got to be very, very careful. A lot of the companies don't make anywhere near as much money as you think. And I think that's something that we need to allocate into a lot of our thought processes. But it's consolidating underneath. This will be a sector to watch, I believe, over the next coming months. Scott Morgan, $2. Is DKNG going through a Wyckoff event? In many ways, it is. Yes, that's what I was kind of getting at before. So if you have a think about it, it's hit that maximum pain kind of threshold. So if we go down to a 1 hour, I'll show everybody what I mean here. So if I draw it up, it'll make more sense to you. Let me just quickly go here, resistance, and then we've got support. We have a breakout to the downside, which takes a ton of profit. As we know, we obviously have a channel. This is just basically a maximum pain style event. And then if DKNG goes and breaks to the upside, whether you want to call it Wyckoff, whether you want to call it just a maximum pain, whether you want to call it just a stop hunt, I don't really care. It's all the same thing. Basically, what it's telling you then is, yes, they've just extracted maximum money from the market. They've taken out a lot of people's stops, and then they're squeezing all those stops because a lot of people will be entering shorts here, and they're squeezing those shorts, pushing them up. In essence, that's what they're doing. And the market's always done this. A lot of people think short squeezes and all this concept is fairly new this year. It's not really. It's just that it's new on the scale of everyone talking about it and everyone understanding, huge amounts of short float. This is more an attack on traders that have used confirmation and said, okay, I think it's short now, I'm going to sell if it breaks through. But Scott, you need it above here. Scott says, haha, didn't get mine. Is that because your stop loss on DKNG is $0, Scott? Twitter now up to $63 after hours. So this has been some very interesting trade, both sides. AMD is 1.7% now to a 125. And the US 100 has started to flip a little bit towards the positive. Laurie's laughing about that. Let's check out Visa. 1.11%. Not bad. What did you say about Visa there? Visa slightly beat earnings. Cool. Good technical on Visa. It's a huge amount of bullish. As we said before, it's a big amount of bullish wicks. I'm not huge on the company. I think this is the old guard. Does anyone like Visa and MasterCard anymore? Or do you guys like them a lot less since crypto? What do you think? Do you reckon these companies are... Where do you see these companies in 10 years? Big brains out there. You've got 700 people here. Where do you see these companies in 10 years? Do you think they're good or no good? Siraj says, why is the Nasdaq so flat after giant beat earnings? Because a lot of them are just basically hitting on targets. So remember, the market is optimistic. It has bulled into the earnings event. You have to slam earnings. And I mean slam it. And remember, guidance is the biggest importance here. They don't really care about the earnings. They want to know what you're going to do next time now. The market's greedy, guys. So you got Microsoft, sure, it's done well. But we've got some other ones that haven't done as well, or some that have just done flat. Barack says MasterCard has a crypto deal with BAKKT. I'm wondering what will be the outcome. Visa will be in crypto. I'm sure they will do. They will adapt to the new market. They will certainly have to. Let's see if they can get it. They'll need that regulation. Marvin the Martian says lots more competitors like PayPal and Square for sure. Visa will make the transition. And Victor Lau says Visa is for the boomers. And MasterCard just announced some crypto news, says Lucian. They better get in and they'll have to move, I think, relatively quickly now. And Mr. Monster is a bit negative. He says the world's ended in 10 years. That's not good, man. We need to be positive here. Positive, positive, positive. So in answer to the question, how can the market be down or flat? It's because the expectations are so huge on earnings. And remember, not every one of the stocks is coming out and going, oh, wow, we've kicked ass. A lot of them are flat themselves. So it's really just Microsoft that's doing so well at the moment. Triple Q prediction tomorrow. Very difficult. Not every day can you make, very good statistical choices. I mean, obviously I'm going to go bullish over the general gist of things. But because we hit the resistance today, I think, look, that was always a fair sell level for day traders. You've got that high, you've hit it. It's a complete guess. I mean, you close above, obviously, top of the trend line becomes the most likely scenario, which we've talked about before. So that's for the QQQ and Nasdaq. Doesn't matter. Same thing. Some big earnings. No real. Microsoft hit and did it. Well, actually beat. So that's very important. If Microsoft missed, I'd say all the way back down to here. Didn't. Complete guess. Some days are going to be a complete guess. You just don't have, you don't have enough results or enough candles to really make an analysis. When you get through a lightning bolt like this, very common that you're going long. Okay. Very, very, very common. There's a high chance, high statistical likelihood. It's just very, very likely. And when you get very likely, that's where you want to trade. Here, you would be going more with the caution kind of control. You would be basically saying, okay, well, if it breaks through the resistance, I'm super interested in taking further positions. I'm super interested in the 20 moving average. That's the kind of thing I'm super interested in. In the middle zone around here, I'm not that interested in potentially placing trades. That makes sense. I'm going to go look at stocks. I'm going to look at the sectors that I like more. That would be how I would look at it from here. Stocks like Microsoft, Google, Amazon, sure, they will do great 10 years. Tesla, not so much. That's from Reggie. I like Amazon at the moment. I think that was one of the better. I hope they can pull an earnings out and give decent guidance. Don't screw me, Amazon. Don't do it. Don't do it, Bezos, even though you're not there anymore. Christian says, just bought a huge solar roof with the Enphase microinverters. Welcome. I also have Enphase on my roof. But I had it before I even knew what Enphase. I just researched it, found that Enphase microinverters were pretty good, and then put them on my roof. I didn't know about the stock at the time. So yeah, good work. The app kind of works, Christian. So enjoy using your app that kind of works. Jay Nibble says, back to Tom's class, got more to learn. We always keep learning, man. Never stop, okay? Keep learning, never stop. What happens if Amazon has mediocre earnings? Any room to go lower? I hope not. It's always room to go lower, but I would hope that it's not too much underneath that level there. You don't really want it under there. Where it just hit, I'm glad it bounced. If it gets underneath 3180, then of course, back down to 3,000, 2,900 we go. So the earnings themselves in what is probably one of the biggest earnings days that you'll see over a year. Jim Cramer just posted, man, he really loves Wall Street bets, doesn't he? He really wants them to love him. AMD bullish, he says. Oh my God. Jim Cramer says these numbers tonight are feeding the bulls. AMD, Microsoft club names. Holy moly. He thinks he's cool. He's very cool, Jim. So there you go. Pretty much it seems to be that earnings were overall right on just enough to kind of keep it stable, which is boring. But in many ways now it lets the technicals take out. So Microsoft definitely was the highlight. And then AMD seems to be okay. Twitter was all over the place. So I think that's Twitter shrugs off Apple privacy impact, meets expectations for revenue MAUs. There you go. Cool. Hopefully pins hits the bottom. Let's take a look at a couple of stocks just to finish up here, and then we'll do crypto. So we'll go pins, Pinterest. Let's have a look where that is. Yeah, so that's really found negativity. And this is the problem when a company offers and then says, oh, no, we don't want it straight away. Like people get so much confidence hit. And it actually becomes deeper value because, well, firstly, everyone says, well, why didn't they want it? It's kind of like a house. You know, when you know other people are interested in the house, you're more likely to want to buy that house. But if there's no offers on the house, you're like, what's wrong with it? Is there something wrong with it? I want to pay cheaper price. I'm going to offer lower. You get more confident that you're going to stay away from that house. You know what I mean? This is the game of everything. It's all the psychology. Psychology is everything in the markets, whether it's a house, whether it's a stock market, whether it's anything. And when PayPal pulled and said, oh, I actually don't want it. Look at this. It's now underneath where it was. That's stupid. Check out Snap. Snap's holding around that 55. A few people saying it's a buy. I'd probably wait for further clarification on it didn't exactly dead cat bounce yet, so I'd probably wait for further clarification on the structure. AMD hard falling, says ND. I'll check it. It's sitting around the same price. It's not really, it's just post market shenanigans. Market's still fairly flat. Chewy finally grinding higher. Let's have a look at that for you, Scott. Oh yeah, lightning bolt, Scott. Nice. Finally, bro. You got it yesterday. Yep. Some people would even call this a inverse. Left, head, right, neckline. Sorry. Neckline there. Lightning bolt. Absolutely. Probably want to get that through that rejection now. That would be ideal. But yeah, this is a decent little turnaround here. And it hit that max pain as well. Got underneath the previous support. Quickly bounced back on that. That's a good sign as well towards the bull. Really got to watch this area. About that 75-ish zone. Okay, let's do a few things. Let's quickly go through silver gold. So silver hit the resistance we spoke about in the previous session. I'm looking for it to break out through here. I also think that silver has really good back-end November into December run, similar to gold. Gold suddenly found that 1810 kind of resistance, again being a problem for it. That's the weekly. Let's go to the daily. See it selling off that resistance high. I'm still not really trading gold. I'm looking for bigger breakouts. I want to see this 1830 get cracked. If you're trading this, you look for a close above here. You look for a move to 1830, and if it gets through there, then continue movement up. Check out the December seasonal, very strong. December seasonal, we've been talking about it for a while. This will come back onto our watch, but not just yet. it is currently on okay support. Let's have a look at the 8-hour. You'll notice 200 8-hour, previous little bit of resistance. It's okay support if you want to trade within the range. 1782, a big level that was previously a problem for it. It got through, stuck in a range here, breaks through the top, 1830, breaks through the bottom, 1760. That's the way I look at it. Let's now look at the crypto market. So Bitcoin finding some weakness, just kind of floating around. That's totally fine. Go over to Ethereum. Ethereum still looks very strong. Series of new highs. This is the beginning of what you would think is the altcoin market. So Ethereum continues to strengthen here. I think it's very, very strong for it. Let's go look at the daily. Fantastic. I wouldn't be surprised to see a new all-time high in Ethereum based on this price action we're seeing at the moment. Nice closure yesterday leads to the bulls. ADA starting to come up as well. This will most likely have a rally on it, you would think, coming forward. Complete guess here, but 210 support has been holding. And as we know, it's kind of making a series of lower highs, or the rallies overall have been relatively weak. So should we start to push through this 232 area, and especially just even get some strength through these previous highs, could be on. This has been a sleeper for a little bit. Remember, people were very bullish Cardano, and then suddenly they weren't. Let's take a look at a few others. Let's have a look at Link. Another altcoin that's showing good strength. Yep, nice breakout there a few days ago. Good strength coming in here for Link. Pretty toxic community in this one, I feel sometimes. People love hating on the Link. But yeah, breakout past 28, pretty good deal. Nice. Let's have a look. Get rid of the SHIB. What else we got here? XRP. Let's have a look at XRP. Polkadot's already moved. Uniswap. Let's have a look at Uniswap. Another one that's breaking out at the moment. Yeah, you can just see it, guys. You see it through the charts here. Go and look at all these charts, and they all look a lot better. I mean, that's a great consolidation on Uniswap, coming through a resistance. It's struggled with this once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It's looking for that closure. If you don't like using dailies because it's a 24-hour market, you can use 8 hours as well, just to show that confirmation. What do you think about this one, guys? Do you like the Uniswaps? What do you think? Stock markets now move slightly down. Supposedly Google is falling here. -1%, sure. Scott Morgan says, no joke. I've been making most of my money from the obesity index. Yeah, I know that one. I talk about it. I love the obesity index. Slim is pretty crazy. One of the better investments that you could have made going into recessions generally. And that's due to the unfortunate nature of human psychology, guys. What do people do? They tend not to look after themselves very well. So we have here the resistance, and could be a little bit of a breakout there on Uni. Let's have a look at XRP. A few people wanted the old XRPs. Let's go to the weekly story here for it. Not that cool on the charts, actually. Could ramp. I guess I would just go bam, bam, bam. Yeah, I would probably just go bam, bam, bam. That's fairly important. Not fantastic. I like the other ones more. Let's have a look at Google. Down 3%. Wow. 2705. That's chunking the US 100 a little bit. Will this create the dip that many people want? Dip, not correction even, I don't think here. So a lot of people want this. That's the scenario that Wall Street likes to play out as well. With the most crazy dip would be more like this. And that would take out all of those gaps. Remember, it would just clean up if it came back down to here. It would clean up every one of these gaps on the bull. I tend to be pretty optimistic into the most of the US end years. So, yeah, I don't think I'll be, calling any lower than that from a technical standpoint. But it'd be sweet if it did it. I mean, I got no problems with it doing this, even if I'm long, which I am, because it's fairly standard. So scenarios are pull back here, and then underneath that, obviously very bad. That would then create double top, and then you're starting to talk about very bad things. I don't think that will occur. And the other scenarios, we just keep going up, close high, and then keep going. You've got to pick your levels and understand that really what trading is, it's not about necessarily predicting everything about the future, because if you're going to predict the future, you just be optimistic and just say, yeah, I think the market will go up. You're not probably going to be that wrong. What a trader does is you're really not trying to trade every single day. You're not trying to look at shorts here every single time. I mean, that's valid short, but you're not just shorting every single stupid price through here. Yeah? If you do that, you get slaughtered. What you're doing is you're finding key zones that you believe, okay, I'm going to target this area. You wait for smaller amount of turnarounds, then bang that in. You're looking for key levels that you believe have a statistical likelihood, a big difference from what people believe and what people do. Remember, sitting back and being patient is the hardest trade you're actually going to make. Oh, my cat's come. Hello, cat. Did you hear that, guys? It's like it needs attention. All right, everybody. Well, I think that probably brings us to the close. So we've got a bit of market, decline here due to the fact that we've basically seen, Google fall off a cliff there a little bit, 3%. Google owner Alphabet beat expectations for third quarter revenue, a positive sign that its advertising business is improving. But the market mustn't beat it by enough, I would think. So I think that's a huge thing about what it did. I think this is the first time the cat's ever come on the stream, actually. All right. What's the cat's name? It's got a pretty strange name for a lot of people. We called it Clover, which is, yeah. It's a British short hair. That's a pretty good cat. All right. Catch everybody. I will see you in the recap video. I'll go check out these earnings now and have a quick look through the reports, see what's going on. Google really knocking the market here. So that's the one that's knocking the market. It beat expectations, as in like it hit them, but it didn't smash them. So that comes back to that scenario we talked about before. But 1 to 10 and then 7 to 8 is, again, 5 being the expectation, 7 to 8 is what the market price is in. Keep that in the back of your mind whenever you're doing things. It took me a while to realize, and because no one tells you, everyone's like, oh, yeah, well, why did it miss? Why is it going down? It hit expectations. Well, you got to realize optimism and the human psychology of we always expect a lot from something. And that's a big one. Please talk about Teva. I probably won't. So Teva's been a horror for years, though. What a piece of crap. I mean, I call it a piece of crap because I know this stock well. This was well known to be a Buffett pickup that wasn't actually a Buffett pickup. And that's why I know about it, because everyone talked about this stock. It's debt-ridden. It's hellish, and it's debt-ridden. Because here's where the Buffmaster supposedly picked it up. Then you can see the ramp. And you can see a second pickup. This is all based on Buffett's pick, by the way. A lot of people ramped it due to this, but it is crippled in debt, if I remember rightly. I haven't read the fundamentals in a long time on this stock, but if I remember rightly, it was a crippled in debt company. Maybe wrong. Negative 7%. Yeah. Oh, someone wants their mod. 1 second. Let me do it now. Barack, say something and I'll mod you up. I've got to do it from a different area. So let me just quickly sort this out. Oh my goodness. Can't believe they did this. There you go, sir. All right, guys. I will see you later. Have a good day. Again, Microsoft might come down a little bit. But I don't think so. I think that's a pretty good hit. It looks like it was a very decent, going over expectations. Remember, Google just didn't quite meet it. It was down more in the post. I think we've got a lot to see float out here. I got to go read these reports and figure it out. All right. See you, everybody. Have a great day. And if you've been in the markets this week, remember, earnings week is exciting. It's great. But sometimes it's better just to chill back, wait for the earnings to come out, find the clear direction, and then trade it. Bye for now.